Hello, hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining. So I'll just wait a few minutes to start seeing some of those comments so that I know who's watching. But I bet I could start writing some names down. So today is just going to be a little laid back. I'm just going to do a demo for you. And if you have questions, you can ask. And we'll just chat and we'll have a great day. Hello, Pam. Hello, Lori. Thank you, ladies, for joining. And what are you two up to today? There is a big retreat going on out at Tom's Lake here, which is on the way to Grand Prairie. And so the store's been very busy because those ladies have been coming in to shop, and I've realized that I'm probably just about out of tropical paper because it seems like everybody is scrapbooking their holidays. So I'm going to need to replenish my stock of tropical stuff for sure. Hello, Dagny. I'm being lazy? Well, that's okay. That's okay. I have just been working on a project, and I donated a gift basket, so I've been wrapping that up and getting that all ready. So I've been taking it pretty easy so far too. So I can show you all the book. I've just about got it finished. So there's a page or two that still needs a few embellishments, but I can show you the book for the class. So if you haven't come in and picked out your papers or haven't let me know which papers you want, you'll need to come in and do that soon. I think I have, I want to say 3 or 4 people that have paid fully. So the class is online. If you go under classes, you'll see it on there. Make sure if you're coming to the store to do it that you click on in-person classes. But if you're doing it through Zoom, make sure you click on the virtual classes and register through that, so that we know how many people are going to be, here in the store and online. I think I have enough for 11 total. I had 12 interests, so if you want to attend this class, it's probably would be good if you get on and registered, okay? But I will show you the book. I have it finished. So here's the front. Yes, you did, Dagny. I'm waiting for your paper pack. I only had the accent pieces, but your paper pack is on order. Okay, and then the first page, we're going to do a little, here on the backwards here, we're going to do a little flip out. Right? So this paper that I chose was called Trail of Silence, but I do not have any left in stock. And then the second page, and this has a flip out, which right here, sorry. And a second little flip out with a pocket. So all of these extra bits, these flip outs and bits, are going to be what we do in the class. That'll be the first bit. And then I have this little flip flap here, which is just a little pocket. So we're going to be doing all these extra little pieces and getting our albums finished. And then you can do, like, this is a piece from the, this is a piece, yes, from the cut apart sheet. This little piece in pocket, and then same with this is just a part of the cut apart sheets, and I've just made a little folio to go in there. This one is just a pocket here. There's like a half a bit there. It's a pocket, and then a corner pocket. These are all from the journal extra pieces that you get. This page I actually haven't finished anything yet, but it's just going to be a regular. I'm just going to I have a cute little banner that was in my cut apart sheets that I'm going to put on there. And then finally the end of the book, and we have another folio piece that flips out, so we're going to complete that. And then so once we get the album finished with all the flip outs, then you can go ahead and decorate your album. Okay, so that's the class, April 16th, which is a Sunday, and it will be 11 till 4, and you should be able to get at least the album done and all the base pages, like all the paper put in. There might still be a little bit of decorating you may have to do, but in that 5 hours you should be able to be close. All the pages are pretty much the same size other than the little flip bits, so doing that part's pretty straightforward. No, Dagny, I think I just got your registration for the actual class for the $25. I think I already had that one. So don't worry, I will fix it if it's re-registered wrong or if it's registered wrong. Don't stress at all. I will figure that part out, okay? So no worries. Hi, Auntie. Nice of you to join. Oh, okay. Thanks, Lori, for checking in anyway. So yes, watch the replay. Definitely. The skating carnival. Yes, that's going on in town. I've heard it's really, really good. Elvis Stoico came to town and is part of it, so that's pretty exciting. Oh, you were shoveling the doorsteps? Yeah. Thanks, Lori. I hope it gives you maybe some ideas on, because you bought that last paperback. I don't know if you registered for the right one, Dagny. I will check after. Don't even stress. It's basically all the same thing. I just wanted to make sure I had a certain amount for in-store and a certain amount for the people that are going to be online that had said that they were interested in coming. So no worries, okay? All right, so let's get to the demo because I don't want to be running late. But we can keep chatting about that if need be. So I will go here. Okay, now let me see if I can get my live thing to work here. Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. Look at me go with all this technology, hey? All right, so I have just some old encyclopedias. A customer had actually called in, said, can you use these? We said, why not? And so we have a bunch of these old encyclopedias. I actually think I'm going to start ripping some pages and then just selling them for like 10 for $1 or something, because it's pretty cool and not everybody has the chance to get these. So all I did was just take this page out of an encyclopedia. And so I'm just going to show you, I just finished kind of working up a class with this. And so I just kind of wanted to go over and show you some of the techniques I used to take this page from just regular text page to something pretty cool. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to cut off, sorry, I have to reach for my trimmer. I just want to cut off the edges. I actually think that I am going to cut off and just have the text, I think is what I'm going to do. Now this paper is thin, of course. Encyclopedia paper is usually thin. So when I cut it, I actually drop my cutter in the middle and then I go up and then back down. Otherwise, if you try to start from, you know, your normal points at the top of your cutter, or the bottom, sometimes it'll just catch and rip your paper. So I feel like that's a easy little trick to do. Get your paper lined up and just drop your little trimmer in there anywhere in the middle-ish and then cut up and down. That just avoids there being any rips and tears. And I've been working with this quite a bit lately, so I'm kind of a little bit versed in. I cut that one side off a little bit short, but that's okay. All right, so I just want the text, a nice sheet of text that we can work with. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do some stenciling. I'm going to use a mixture of oxide and distress. Now, I was using different inks when I was working on my project, but I didn't feel like they would show up on the screen enough. So you're gonna have to bear with me with my new ink choices because I'm not sure how they're gonna look. And now I'm a little bit nervous. All right, let's just fly into it, right? So I would recommend 2 to 3 stencils of different designs, okay? Oh, I love, sorry, I'm out of the screen. I love this. Make Art Station. I love it. And so I always put it in underneath my cutting board, or my mat, I mean. And then you can just use these. Now, if I can get it lined up, it's not a huge issue, but then you can just use these little round magnets. Not little, they're big and they're very strong. You can just use these little magnets and they hold your stencil down. It's really, I love it. I love this. I use it now all the time for stenciling. And then my other tip is This mat came with the glimmer foil machine. You may have other, just like a silicone mat. And so what I do, put it alongside of my project, and I put my ink pad on there, and then it doesn't move around. So I can then rub my blender knife or blender brush on there, and I don't have to be constantly holding my ink pad, right? All right, so there's that. Now we're gonna move this, and we're gonna do a bit more over here on this side. Now, has anybody used book pages? Do you use them in your albums or your cards? Is this kind of new for people? Give me some feedback. Let me know thoughts on this. Is this something you could see yourself, maybe now that I do this demo, you can see yourself doing more with it maybe? This is actually really nice. I'm very pleasantly surprised with how nice this is. Dried marigold. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out. And you don't have to keep your stencil straight. You can twist it, you can turn it, and just do random. I try not to think too much about my placement and my positioning. I just sort of go in the rules of 3. So like triangular, whatever my first, I kind of jump into it with my first one, and then I just sort of play around triangular from that. And then I just feel like I like this one the best, so I'm actually going to do sort of a little bit here right in the center. And I know now this isn't going to be triangular, but I just felt like it needed that. So we'll see if it needs more, and I can always do a bit more. Let's just do, because I like to work in odd numbers, so let's just do down in the corner here. But yeah, this has been a really nice setup. I love this Make Art Station. It works amazing for stencils with just those magnets. Okay, so that is stencil number 1. Can everybody kind of see that? Do you need me to lift it up so you can see a bit better, closer? So see how it's just subtle over top of those? And so this was the oxide, and part of the reason I picked the oxide is because it is subtler. It's not so in your face like the distress is. However, I am going to use some distress just because ooh, this is going to be too bright for that one. We're going to use this one. Just because I do want a little bit of differences, but I don't want it still too in your face. Okay, and so for my brush, I'm just gonna wipe this off. I think that was the one I was using. Oh no, this one's the one I was using. Right, you can see my cloth here. I've been doing lots of stenciling, so it's pretty messy. And I just rub my brush. I will, if I'm gonna be using this for now like a green color, I will actually go and wash this brush. But for right now, just for this purpose, I'm just brushing it off. Okay. So now the next one I'm going to do with this is this bubble stencil, and I'm going to use Salvage Patina on it just because I love it. But I'm going to do it a little bit, not so much, just because it's very bright, right, compared to that dried marigold. So I'm just going to make it a little more subtle, so that you can see it, but I don't want it to be as bright as this ink pad, right? I don't want it to be that. All right. So, well, and this stencil also isn't big, thick areas like this first one was, so that also helps a little bit. I'm going to maybe do this circle right down here at the bottom. Music sheets. Oh yes, Lori, music sheets. So same kind of idea. Would this be something you would do with your music sheets? Would you stencil on them, or how exactly do you use them? You do have a bunch of old encyclopedias, Pam? Well, if they're not sentimental and you like kind of the junk journal look, they are perfect. Okay, now I'm going to put this one over here. So now, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but now I'm sort of going around or in between the dried marigold patches that I already put in here. I'm sort of, with my next color now, going in between that. So that eventually my page will be mostly full with stenciling, but not crazy where it's all going over top of each other. And I like this bubble one because to me actually it looks like, you know, when you set your coffee cup down or your teacup and it makes that little thing. That's what it looks like to me. But I like this one because it's kind of subtle. You don't really, it gives, especially with this patina color where it's so bright, this allows you to just get a little dabble of it without it. Like if we would have done it with this last stencil, it would have been a bright page. And I don't want it bright, but I do want it to be able for you guys to see it, okay? And I'm holding my ink pad because I'm just so used to holding it. I need to put one more on there. They're not sentimental at all. Well, there you go. Start ripping pages. It's perfect. Oh yeah, book pages. Yep, absolutely. Book pages work perfect too. I do have some book pages as well. I just really like these encyclopedia ones because I love how full the text is on here. Okay, I think I need maybe one more. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so can everybody see that now? So see how it's just subtle? I'm just going to kind of turn so that everybody can get that bit closer look. So it's very, very subtle, but that's how I wanted that one. Okay, now the next one I'm going to use is Vintage Photo. So far I've used only oxide, okay? I've only used oxide. But I do have one that I'm going to use that is Distress. Actually, I wonder if I should use that first. You know what? Let's switch up here. I don't want to use this one right now. I am going to use Distress. And I'm going to use Spun Sugar. And I'm going to use this stencil. I'm not sure. This is a newer one. I forget even what it's called, but yeah, it's pretty flourishy. So let's go here. Oh, my magnets. Okay. Hi, Rhonda. Nice of you to be able to join us. We are just beautifying up pages. So you ladies who are saying that you've used music sheets and book pages, but how do you use them? Would you do stuff like this? And I thought that's what it was called, Ironworks. Would you just use them with collage medium and go over them and kind of use them as a background? What is your process on actually using them? Ooh, that one's very light. I didn't realize how light that was going to be. I actually like the dried marigold the best. And I've used this stencil quite a bit, and honestly, it just does not seem to lay flat for me. Even with 4 magnets close together, where I want it, it just does not seem like it's laying flat. It lifts up so much. All right, maybe that's it. I just have to put a little bit more pressure into it with this lighter color. Could also be that my ink pad's starting to dry out. I have had these for like 5 years and never inked them. It'd be nice if we had a speed up button on here, hey? So you didn't have to all just watch me do everything. I'm just checking on my feed there. Oh, stamps and ink. Yes. Backgrounds on mixed media, yeah. Oh, I see, okay. So you use them as your background pieces. So then if you're doing that Dagny, it would basically be like kind of a mixed media, or you'd be doing your stamping and your inking on top of it anyway. Well, even though that this might not be new to some of you, it's still going to be cool because there's still a couple more things I'm going to do here on it. So still hang in with me even if you've done this before. Maybe I can still have a few little learning tidbits in here, right? Just let me see. I just feel like this one was so light but I'm not even going to try to put more over top of it. I honestly think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to bring back my vintage photo, and I'm just going to do a little bit of, I'm going to do this because it's pretty dark, and I just want a few spots of this. Can tell this one's one that I haven't used very often because the first time I went to put something on or to stencil, I think it was yesterday, it was very heavy and very juicy. So I thought, wow, I must not use this vintage photo very often. Hello, Marion. That's okay if you're late getting on. All that matters is you made it. So we are stenciling on this piece of encyclopedia paper that I had a lady drop off some encyclopedias for us in the store here. Oh yeah, just like I'm doing? Okay, perfect. Well, I'm still gonna just keep going. I'm gonna actually turn this so that I can do a few sideways, because I think that that's something to remember also. Your stencil does not have to just keep going up and down. It can go any way you want it to go. And over here it needs a little bit more too. Anybody have this magnetic station? I really like it for stenciling. Really, really like it. Okay, I think that's good for that. I didn't want too much vintage photo, so I'm going to be done with that. Okay, so now my next step is still stenciling, but I'm going to use paint. I'm going to use picket fence. Sorry that I'm kind of reaching off here. I'm just trying to dry my brushes. Okay, and I really like this stencil with the big circles on it. So I'm going to set this like this, I think. All right, so picket fence paint. Always shake up your paints, right? You've always called spun sugar the uncolored color. Well, I guess if you layered it, maybe it might be better too. You know, like if I left the stencil, let it dry, and then re-layered it, I think it would be okay too. So I just have an old palette tray here, you know, that's dried, and I'm just going to squirt a little bit of picket fence onto here. So about that much. Can you see that circle? Not even, barely the size of a quarter. Then I'm back to our old trusted blenders here, which I actually really, really like for doing things with paint, especially if it's, you know, pouncing or something to that effect. I still really like these foam ones. So just a bit of paint. Ooh, where's my camera here? Right, not a lot. And then I'm just gonna kind of stencil in here. And of course, what this is gonna do is it's gonna mute it down a bit, right? But not completely opaque. I don't want it to be completely opaque. I just want some spots of this page to be a little bit more muted. So same thing, move your stencil around. Sometimes you don't even have to refill your foam blender here with paint. Depends on how much white you want it. And I'm sorry if you guys can't see. Let's put some of this over here. So now I feel like I need a bit more paint. And I'm gonna do these ones darker. So that's what I like too, is you can really modify how much paint you're putting on, how little of paint you're putting on, what effects you want. Right, okay. One in here. Actually, I'm gonna maybe do a bit over in the middle a bit more, because I seem to always keep it around the edge, but I think I need a bit more in the middle. So pouncing, I'm not dragging or anything like that. I'm just pouncing it on, as you can see. going to do just a few up in this corner. Oh, I should do some in that other corner too. Yeah, I really like this one. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but now I quite like it. These ones are going to be a little bit more noticeable. Oh, you guys can really see the paint on the camera, I'm noticing. And then I just want to put a couple, I'm going to actually even put this one at like a triangle on this one. Can't see what I'm doing here, sorry. Let's see if I can push that up a bit. So I just have the stencil kind of angled so that it's just a different motion. All right, I'm just going to now grab my baby wipe because you don't want to, the ink, that's fine. It'll wipe off your stencil anytime, but the paint, not so much. So it's important to get that paint off of your stencil as soon as you use it, because if it dries on there, you won't get it off. You can see the red I had on there. I was using this for when I did a masterboard demo, and I used red and I couldn't wash it right away. I'd forgot to grab my wet wipes. And so then by the time I was able to wash it, that's the best it could do. And it's not going to hurt your stencil. It's just nice to be able to keep them sort of as clean as possible. I guess, I don't know. I like to try to at least keep them as clean as possible, but maybe it's not a big deal. All right, so a bit of a close-up. All right, can you see that? I really like how the paint is just that much different from the inks, and it gives it that little bit more subtle look. All right. So now my last thing I want to do, well, not last, second to last, I guess, is I want to put some texture paste on here, but I am just using I'm just using crackle paste. I don't want to put through a stencil or anything like that. I'm just going to take my crackle paste, move my page up here so you guys can see it. I can move that over, move this a little bit over there. Okay, good. I think if I was going to do this again, I would maybe use marigold, dried marigold in the distress, and use the spun sugar in the oxide. Maybe that would give a bit more depth. So all I'm doing is swiping. You can see that in here. I'm just swiping it. Not really trying to pattern it at all, just kind of making a few little swipes. If you use the back of your knife, so if your knife is like this, use the back. It's a lot easier for spreading, right? Don't need a lot. We're just doing a few spots here, okay? Just like I said, to give it a little bit more texture. And I'll do some right down here on the corner. All right. So now, I guess I'm gonna have to let that dry. I might have to blow dry it, which I did not think about dry time on here. So what I would do after this, once this crackle paste is dry, or I guess I could have done it before the crackle paste even, is I would take a stamp and make some stamps on here. So I'm going to show you a page that I have that I've put some stamping on. Okay, here, I'll move this one out. Oh, but I haven't got the crackle paste on this one yet. But you can see I use these circle stamps to put stamping on here instead. So that's one page. Here's another one. Again, a bit different stamp. This one's a leaf stamp, but you can see I used my paint. And like I said, I just don't have my crackle paste on here yet. So once this dries, actually I could probably even do a little bit of stamping without touching that crackle paste. So I have these stamps from Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. So this is one. It's called Medium Marks No. 1. And I actually really like this squiggle. Pam was in here the one day and I was using this. And I said to her, ooh, I didn't know how it was going to be when I stamped with it. But I actually really, really like it. And so in the mix of these colors, what I am doing is using Walnut Stain Distress Ink. And I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping just so that you guys can see what happens when you stamp on here. How it brings it out. Oh, And be good if you actually inked your stamp up a bit more, hey? I don't have any texture paste in the middle, so I'm going to put a big one in the middle there. I don't have one up on this corner, so I'm going to do a little bit of stamping there. Right? See if I can kind of mimic this one, oops, a little bit more. To kind of recover it. Well, that's all right. All right, so now you can see with the stamping, and again, I'll lift it up. Now, the only thing that I noticed, which is really funny, which you can't really see on here, but wherever there's picket fence paint, it seems to really make the ink mellow out for some reason. I don't know why, but I've just noticed that in doing this project. So you see how that stamping just really makes it go boom. It just makes it stand out so much, hey? I couldn't believe the difference. So once the crackle paste is dry, then this page will be done. And I just want to show you one page I've completed in my album using this paper. I'll move it out of the way so you can see my page better as my background. That's all that's on here, is just one of those pages that I did that exact same technique for. I did run the walnut stain ink around the edge, but this was a page that I completed with that. So I'm just reading your comments, sorry. The white really does bring up the colors. Yes, it sure does, absolutely. They're very soft. Yes, I didn't want too in your face, right? So, oh, here's the other side. I had posted this a little bit ago, but there's my other side, and there's that same stamp that I just used, right? Have it off the corner here. It's turned out really nice. You can see, maybe, can you see crackling in there? See if I get it, yep. You can see how that's crackled. So I've got some of the white paint and the crackle paste, which you could put wax over that. You could do a lot more things with it, right? So I'm just gonna put my lovely face back on here for you. So that's it, that's my demo for today. I don't know if you guys learned anything, but I hope you enjoyed seeing me make the page anyway. And it was easy for me to do this today because I had, like I said, I've been working on this album. So I thought, you know what, that's pretty cool that you can take an encyclopedia page and make that with it. So the crackle paste is going to make it warp a little bit. You can see it's already kind of warping. What I did, and that's why when I showed you those pages, I said I didn't have the crackle paste on them yet, because I actually put them on my chipboard first, and then now I was actually just finishing off a layout, and now I'll go in and put my crackle paste on and let it dry, and then I will finish off that page. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got for you today. So I hope you enjoyed. Oh, I'm glad that you guys think it's great. Perfect. And yes, Lori, the stamps are very cool. I'm trying to find a few more mixed media type stamps like that. I tend to not bring in those Stampers Anonymous because one stamp set is like $45. However, if you want me to order them, I absolutely can. I have special ordered them before for different people. So if you go online or something, or you see other ones that you like, let me know and I can absolutely order them for you. But I am looking at a few other brands that I can bring in, and they won't be as high a price point. So watch for that in the next little bit. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. Sorry I took you guys over a little bit over the 2 o'clock mark. I'm sure that you don't mind though. I know how much you love hanging out with me, right? Seeing all my creativity flow. I can say I've been having a lot of fun. I've been, I did that other album with the Craft-A-Clock paper, and now this one. It's been good. I feel like in the last few weeks I've actually done more crafting than I have in a long time. So I'm enjoying it. So good rest of your day. Good rest of your weekend tomorrow. See you next weekend, everybody.